The most productive thing that you do for yourself this week might actually look completely unproductive. It might look like a walk. It might look like an empty block on your calendar. It might look like closing a laptop before you force that one more mediocre hour out of your day. It might even look like saying no to that opportunity that on paper makes sense and seems to propel you forward. But if you really take a step back, it's quietly pulling you further away from the business that you actually want to be building. So today I want to talk a little bit about something that might have quite a few different names: essentialism, strategic subtraction, stoic clarity, how to use your purpose as a compass when everything feels like too much. Because clarity is not just knowing what to do next and what moves you forward, it's also knowing what no longer gets to come along with you.
For too long, entrepreneurs and business owners have been told they have to choose between profit and purpose. If you're tired of burning out, done chasing someone else's version of success, and ready to grow with more purpose, prosperity, and peace of mind, you're in the right place. Because every business has the potential to do good and do well. I'm Chase Friedman, and this is In Pursuit of Purpose, where strategy meets soul.
We are cultured to believe that we get a badge for busyness, that success is a full calendar, a full slate. What if the thing that you've been calling momentum is actually just motion? And what if taking that next big leap in your business doesn't require anything more than what you're already doing, but instead to finally start cutting and trimming and honing what no longer belongs? You've heard me say this before, but I want to call it out again. We have been trained to treat busyness like a badge of honor. Packed calendar, back-to-back calls, always on the go, must be super important. Always exhausted, well, that's par for the course, must be building something big. And I get it. I've worn that badge, sometimes proudly, sometimes performatively. Somewhere along the way, we confuse being busy with being effective. This is not progress. Movement is not momentum. They are not the same thing. This full calendar may not mean that you are building the right business for you. This crowded inbox doesn't mean you're creating real value. The infinite amount of small tasks does not relate to true progress. It may just mean that you're allowing yourself to be available to everything and anchored to very little because it's hard. Our culture rewards this visible busyness. We get really good at this performative art of showing ourselves as productive and busy and knowing all things. Hey, how's it going? How's your week? We respond with something like, oh man, it's crazy this week. Slammed. Barely keeping up. Back to back. Trying to survive the week. Can't wait till the weekend. Everyone nods. We affirm each other because we all understand the language. It's like this professional handshake. How are you? Busy. Translation: I'm valuable. I'm needed. I'm doing enough. Don't ask me if any of this stuff actually matters. It's a little dark, but also a little true. Because busyness can become a socially acceptable way to avoid asking harder questions like, what are you actually building? What are you working on? What are you working so hard for? Why are you saying yes to this? Who are you trying to impress? What would happen if you slowed down long enough to give the real truth? We keep ourselves so busy, partially because we think we have to, but partially because we're afraid to stop and truly analyze and look at, because if we stop moving, if we may have to actually notice that some of this stuff is actually misaligned. Some of the work is actually not essential. Some of the yeses were fear dressed up as opportunity. Some of the progress is actually just clutter. And some of the things that we call responsibility may just be old patterns and habits with better branding and justification. So here's what it boils down to. When we talk about burnout and overwhelm, this is a clarity problem, but it's really a capacity problem. So yeah, sometimes we're doing too much. Sometimes the calendar is genuinely full. Life is full, and that's great. Live a full life. When you're juggling work and family life and logistics and laundry and school emails and groceries and returns and the general admin of being a human being in today's society becomes this kind of constant cloud that's just kind of drifting with you. That's real shit. I'm not dismissing that. But in business, overwhelm often comes from a deeper issue. You haven't decided what matters most. Because when everything matters, nothing can lead. That's how founders get stuck. You wake up with this energy, but you don't know where to point it. So you just start doing stuff. You open the laptop, but instead of like that next clear step, there's like 37 different directions you can go. Fix the website, fix the post, follow up with the lead, record the episode, send the invoice, study the competitor, build the funnel, casual Tuesday, right? So you do a little bit of everything, and a little bit of everything feels productive, but often it's just like this disguised avoidance. Because busyness, again, it can become this very convincing, like costume wardrobe for progress. We're really good at keeping ourselves busy all day and avoiding the tough and hard questions that might actually change the course of your business or your life. You can tweak your website for however many hours or days and still dance around or avoid saying the thing that you really truly believe. Create more content, but still avoid clarifying or committing to who it's really supposed to land for. Here's a bit of a reframe for you. So, doing less, but with intention, actually might mean caring enough to stop scattering your energy across endless amounts of things that don't really deserve your time and energy, right? This is not about doing nothing. It's not even about doing less. It's about a more focused approach to what we commit our time to. The goal is to stop treating everything like it deserves the same level of energy from us, because it does not. Some things need more attention, some things needing less, some that can be paused, some that can be delegated or just cut entirely, and then some things that need to be truly protected and defended. Look, this is not some new productivity trend. I get it. Some of the greatest minds in history were not great because every minute of their lives were jammed with meetings and notifications and errands and optimization. They knew enough, they were smart enough to create space. The great Charles Darwin, he had this remarkably simple routine where he focused in blocks. He would walk, and then he would read, and then he would rest, and then returning to work. Einstein, he wasn't just famous for like these equations, these outputs, but for the process, these thought experiments. And he would do these long walks, these long conversations that gave his ideas room to breathe. Beethoven, he would work like intensely and then carry paper with him because ideas come to you in that flow state when you're on a run, when you're on a walk. It's not going to always just land on your desk when you need it. Charles Dickens also would write and then walk for hours through London. So, whatever that walk or rest thing is for you, it's just a sign and proof that deep work, meaningful work, your greatest work, often requires some open space, letting it breathe. It needs oxygen. You can't sharpen that sword if you're always just kind of swinging it. But modern work culture has convinced us that space is waste, that a blank spot on the calendar should be filled with something. Like a walk in the middle of the day, that's just indulgent. That seems unproductive. But what if you start thinking of thinking as the real work, walking as part of the work? What if rest is not the opposite of growth, but the part that makes it sustainable? What if you stop treating the empty space in your calendar not as something to be filled or occupied, but as like a resource to protect? This is hugely important for founders and coaches and consultants and experts, because your value doesn't come from just straight output. Like, you're valued at a higher level from your insight, from your judgment and your perspective, your pattern recognition, your creativity, your ability to see things that others can't. Give yourself some space to think, to listen, to connect the dots, and think like, is this aligned? Is this still mine? Is this essential? Or am I keeping myself busy because slowing down just makes me a little uncomfortable? This is where Essentialism by Greg McKeown, right, or 10X come together. Essentialism is basically kind of giving us discipline. 10X thinking gives us the business case, but they both ask the same question: what needs to go? Essentialism is not just minimalism, it's like the disciplined pursuit of what actually fucking matters. And that word discipline is important because doing less sounds easy or slacking off until you have to make a choice. Choosing like means letting go of things, might mean disappointing some people, letting some opportunities pass. Choosing means admitting that some of your ideas aren't for right now. Saying no to work that technically you could do. Choosing means making peace with the fact that potential is not the same as priority. As founders, as entrepreneurs, we love potential. We love ideas and possibility and connections. That's like the gift. But it can also become the trap. Because if you treat every single idea that comes your way as equally important, you will drown in your own imagination. Like, don't ask yourself, could this work? Because yeah, maybe it could. And I'm sure you could make this work. A lot of things could work. The better question is this essential? Is this aligned? Is it essential to the business I'm building? Is it essential to the people that I'm here to serve? And is this essential to my purpose? Is this essential right now? This is also why I love the idea that like 10x growth can be easier than 2x. Why? Like it sounds like a great TED Talk hook, but I get it. 2x thinking is like, how do I do more of what I'm already doing? Right? How do I just increase that? How do I scale that? How do I squeeze more productivity out of the current model? How do I optimize? 10x thinking, entirely different mindset and question. What would I need to stop doing? What would no longer make sense? What would I need to say no to? Who would I need to become? That's a huge one because the next level of your business cannot be built by dragging every old pattern and habit with you. You can't bring all the old great ideas and offers and client types and presentations and assets and decks. Like we've created so much in our lifetime and we want to carry it with us. Oh, all that time I spent making so and so, it's got to still be relevant. No, cut it, trim it back. Something has to be left behind. So let's try to make this a little bit more practical, a framework. I love a good framework. So when everything feels like too much, we're going to stop asking, what do I need to do now? What's left on my plate? And start asking, what does my purpose require? This is where your purpose statement, and if you haven't done it already, go to the website, chaseryanfriedman.com, do the purpose positioning assessment, download the workbook, use it as a working tool, not just like a decorative sentence, okay, that you wrote in a brand workshop and forgot about. The statement should help you make decisions. So here's the first kind of filter. Take whatever that is overwhelming you right now that seems like just too much, like a project, a client type, a content idea, and then run it through a few questions, okay? First, does this directly support my purpose? Answer it directly. Does it help me like live or deliver or expand upon or grow the purpose that I have stated I am here to achieve? Second, how does this help me serve the most people I am here to serve? Like this is a huge one because many opportunities that are aligned may not be bad. They might just not be for your core audience. In the purpose positioning matrix, we look at persona. It's one of those 5 Ps. When you keep bending and morphing your business around adjacent people, like you start to lose clarity around who you're really here for. Third, does this strengthen my positioning? Does it make my message sharper, right? Does it make your value clear? Does it help people better understand why you're different? And fourth, does this create proof? Does it lead to a result, a case study, a clear story, a better transformation? Not all activity is going to create some proof or some outcome. Some just creates noise. And then fifth, like, does this protect my peace of mind, my livelihood, the reason that I built this business, the lifestyle that I'm trying to achieve here? Because we're really good at justifying misalignment, like in the name of growth. Like we can say yes to almost anything if we convince ourselves it's strategic. But if the business you are building requires you to continuously abandon the life that you say you want, the freedom that you say you want, something's off here. So that's the purpose filter. Ask of that overwhelming thing or idea or tactic or campaign. Is it aligned with purpose, my people, my positioning? Does it give me proof? Does it give me peace? And if the answer is no across the board, you probably already know what to do with it. Cut it, delegate it. Now let's talk about what happens when you become a little bit more clear and you've allowed yourself a bit more freedom and space and time to breathe because you've been trimming, you've been editing. Now what? What do I do with all this open space in my calendar? Like you're going to earn yourself some more no's. Like that's a good thing. I know it may not feel good, especially when you're building something new. Every no can feel like it's like personal or rejection, but sometimes no is not a failure. Sometimes like a good no is like alignment doing its job. A vague business is only going to hurt you. It's trying to stay available to everyone. A clear business becomes easier for the right people to trust, and in turn, the wrong people to ignore and stay away from. Good, you did yourself a favor. You actually want the wrong fit people to say, this is not for me. Good. That means the right fit person can hear it more clearly. If your purpose gets sharper, people will resonate. Your perspective gets stronger. Not everyone will agree. If your audience gets clear, that means not everyone will be included. Your offer gets more specific, more niche. Not everyone will see themselves in it. Good. We're not building a business for everyone, the entire internet. We're building for the people that we are here to serve, and we can serve the best. The more honest that we're about that, we can kind of stop carrying that additional emotional weight of trying to appeal to everybody. This is part of doing less, but doing it better. You're not just cutting tasks, you're cutting the need to try to be everything to everyone. I say all this as someone who's had to learn it the hard way, like repeatedly, with like a weird and unhealthy amount of stubborn enthusiasm. There have been seasons in my business where things looked great from the outside. I have not been shy about that. The revenue was there, the clients were there, the projects were moving, the business looked successful, but internally it was totally scattered. Was serving way too many types of clients, too many services, saying yes to things that I knew immediately were not aligned. But I said yes because I felt the pressure of earning the revenue, keeping the lights on. That's the dangerous part. Like misalignment doesn't always look like failure. It looks like revenue sometimes, right? It's needed. It's a full calendar. You can be grateful and honor what you built, but still like be honest with yourself about what needs to be changed or trimmed or cut entirely or delegated. For me, like the shift was realizing I didn't want just more business, like a bigger business. I wanted a clear business, a more aligned, life-giving, energizing business, more purposeful business that supported the life that I actually wanted to live. More presence with my family, space to think, connected to something deeper, a greater mission in life, strategic impact. And I was never going to get there by adding more. And trust me, I'm really good at tripping myself up sometimes and adding more to my plate. And I have to stop and think and analyze and assess and ask myself these hard questions. Does this align? Is this purpose aligned for me? I had to close many adjacent doors, not all at once, not like recklessly, but diligently. Close it, lock it, throw away the key sometimes. That's what I want for you too. So the last thing I'll ask of you is take this little one door audit, right? Take 10 minutes after the episode, open a blank page, ask yourself, what am I keeping open that I may need to close? Like offers, clients, content, partnerships, tasks, write all the stuff out that you're doing. And then right next to it, if you want, cut, pause, delegate, protect, commit. Like don't overthink it. Like the first instinct will tell you more than you care to admit. Do this for a week. One thing to cut, one thing to pause, one thing to delegate, one to protect, just one. See how that feels. The goal is not to solve your entire life and business by Friday. Lovely idea, terrible plan. The goal is to create one clear active alignment, one decision, one release, one protected priority, and one next step. Thanks for listening to In Pursuit of Purpose. If this episode helped you, please follow the show, leave a quick review, and maybe even share it with someone who's been building something meaningful of their own. And remember, you are more than ready for this next step. Head over to my website at chaseryanfriedman.com and you can start building your own purpose positioning strategy, explore free resources, and even find more inspiration for the road ahead. I'm Chase Friedman. Onwards.